Welcome to the Avert podcast, where we talk with some of the most creative people within North Texas and beyond. I'm your host, Michael Gibson Jr. Today's guest is Robert Eric Wise. Originally from Fort Worth and currently residing in Los Angeles, he is a writer, producer, and director with 6 Emmy Awards under his belt. He has an amazing career in reality television, commercials, comedy, and documentaries, which include The Boondocks, Black Jesus, Sunday Best, Vince Young Next Level, and his latest documentary film, Unlocked Voices, Bridging the Future. The film is an original historical documentary commissioned by the Fort Worth Tarrant County NAACP that features 8 iconic citizens of Fort Worth and Tarrant County who have made amazing accomplishments throughout their lifetimes. The featured icons are Dr. Opal Lee, the grandmother of the national Juneteenth holiday, Lorraine Miller, the first African-American officer of the United States House of Representatives since its inception in 1789, the late Judge L. Clifford Davis, whose legal efforts led to the desegregation of Mansfield ISD in 1956 and the Fort Worth ISD in 1962, Pastor Floyd Moody, one of the Mansfield 3 students who worked to integrate Mansfield ISD schools in 1956, Judge Lewis Stearns, the first African-American president of the Tarrant County Bar Association, Norma Robbie, an industry pioneer of women business owners at U.S. airports, Maddie Peterson Compton, who served 40 years as an assistant United States attorney for the Northern District Texas Fort Worth Division, Estella Williams, the first and only woman to serve as president of the Fort Worth Tarrant County NAACP in its 92-year history. And these passionate and riveting stories are told in their own words and in their own voices, moderated by Bob Ray Sanders, who is a local journalist and icon himself. The Fort Worth Tarrant County NAACP continues to make a strong impact in our community through voter registration drives, workshops to educate the public on civic engagement, affordable housing, wealth management, community health, and much more. I moderated a panel discussion following the screening of Unlocked Voices during the 2026 Denton Black Film Festival back in January, which featured Robert, as well as the president of the Fort Worth Tarrant County NAACP, Estella Williams, as well as their vice president, Blake Mormon, where they announced that following the film festival, there will be more chances to screen the film during community screenings. You can find out information on future screenings and more by following their Instagram page at NAACP Fort Worth Tarrant or by visiting their website, naacpfwtc.org. Now let's get into the episode. I sat down with Robert and we discuss growing up in Fort Worth, his experience working on shows like American Idol, the best advice he received from John Witherspoon, what becoming a father has meant to him, and so much more on episode 60 of the Avert podcast. Consider yourself warned. Thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start by, I hear you're originally from Fort Worth.
I am. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. Yes, I am. Pascal High School graduate.
And what was it like for you growing up here in Fort Worth?
Growing up in Fort Worth, it's back in those days, it was a smaller town. And now it's big and bustling. But back then it was a little more quiet. It felt more like a suburban type town back in those days in the 1980s, 1990s. But it has grown so much. It's like big. It's like Dallas was when I was a kid now, right? And it was very neighborhoody. And, it was, you had your little band of friends in the neighborhood and you hung out in certain little areas and you didn't even go to other sides of town really back in those days just because it was far, but, it was a good upbringing and I really enjoyed it. My mother had a business here, printing business. My father was a school teacher and, it was a good place to grow up, I thought.
What'd your father teach?
Mathematics. Yeah, he's any kind of mathematics. And he taught at high school and he also taught in college.
Wow.
So he taught University of Texas at Arlington and he also taught at the junior college as well. So, and then he left UTA and he just then taught at the junior college and high school. He did that until he retired.
Now, was there anything that like your parents instilled in you growing up?
Yeah, hard work probably, because they worked really hard. My mother never stopped working. She owned her own business, so she 12, 13, 14 hours a day. And my dad had always had 2 jobs, sometimes 3. So believe it or not.
Was he a Jamaican?
Yeah, he might have been. He worked at Sears as well. So my father had 1 full-time job and 2 part-time jobs. And not because he needed to, because he loved it. That was really the reason.
Because like I know that my father, he instilled the hard work
Mm-hmm.
in us, but I remember growing up as a little kid, he would always be like, making sure that you read.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also, one of the things that I still remember him saying to me is like, you can't be intelligent until you at least learn how to spell it.
Right.
So he would make us recite spelling intelligent to him.
I need to learn that then, don't I?
Oh, my goodness.
That's cool. That's cool.
What sort of things were you involved in high school?
I played football and I ran track. That was the big things for me. And I was involved in the history club. We called it the Ebony Club, which dealt with a lot of Black history and civil rights and that sort of thing. And those were my 3 functions outside of school. But, football and track would take a lot of time. But I really loved history. And so I always, civics and that sort of thing. So that always was, I love storytelling. I love stories. So those were my loves. And eventually, as I got older, the history overpowered the sports to some degree. Although I'm still a big football fan. But it overpowered the sports. Whereas I study history, do something with history pretty much every day for the last 3-4 decades. So that's just who I am. That's my entertainment, is reading something or learning something about a current event or even ancient event or American history, Roman history, whatever.
Do you have a favorite time period?
Roman history. I did that. Roman history. And with Roman history, of course, theology, you have to learn Christian history. And British history, a whole lot of that. And American history. So those are my 3 I studied in college. But Christianity, like I said, you can't, it's kind of into everything.
Right.
So once you start Roman history and British history and American history, they're symbiotic. They're all mixed in together. So you do get a good bit of that.
I know that with your love of history, you ended up doing a documentary, which we will get into.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to get us through some of you getting into. Let's actually touch on that first. Like what brought you into getting into media?
Get into media?
Yeah.
Well, I had moved away and lived in New York for a little while. And when I decided I wanted to go back to college. And so I left New York. I believe I was around 22, 23. I left New York and moved back home because it's the only way I could afford to do it, and enrolled at UTA. And when I was majoring there in communications, and that's when I got an opportunity to intern at Channel 5, KXAS. And the minute I walked in that door, I knew I was at home. The second I walked into the receptionist, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. It really took that long, walking into the front door. And my sister worked there at the time. And I got in and started interning, and I interned for a different department than what my sister was in. And one day, I was getting close to the end of school, and my boss there, or future boss, offered me a part-time job. And I was like, yeah. And I went right out of communications at UTA and started working at Channel 5 part-time. And from there, worked my way up to full-time producer, director, writer. And then what happened was the company that owned Channel 5 was called Lynn Productions at the time. They hadn't sold it to NBC yet. And they owned quite a few stations. I don't remember now how many, 12, 13, 14 stations. And they had created a position for a top producer for all the stations to do all their marketing, commercials, this, that, and the other, promotions and all that. And I applied for that job and got it.
Wow.
So then I was jetting around the country working for all the stations, shooting all the time, year round, in all the stations everywhere that they had them. And I did that for like 5 years. And we also, at the time, we owned the people who owned the stations, owned the Texas Rangers baseball team and the Dallas Stars hockey team. So naturally, I also did their commercials as well.
Wow.
And so that got me into sports, which I loved. So I did all the Rangers commercials and the Dallas Stars commercials. And then that broke into doing other companies' commercials and even the Dallas Mavericks commercials because they hired us.
Right.
I guess they liked what we were doing with the Rangers. They, hey, you guys come, hired us. So then we did the Mavericks and all that kind of stuff. And then that's kind of how I got into media. And I did that for another, 5 years at Channel 5 and then 5 years doing it. And they sold the company to Fox. And when we got sold by Fox, Fox was like, you guys do a great job, but, we only do sports on this division. And we really don't need you anymore. We're not going to be shooting anything. So you guys can go ahead and get out of here. Unless you want to join the sports team, which they offered me. But I didn't want to do that. I'll be going about 3 years backwards in my career. Maybe 4. So I moved on. Actually went on to work for Fox in a different capacity, all the way different. It had nothing to do with that. So that was my next step.
So then where did that bring you afterwards?
Well, I was started my own production company and started shooting commercials after that. And probably within less than a year's time, a producer I had worked with before at Lynn Productions, he was a freelance producer, but I had written and produced a show, directed a show called Strong Against Crime. Mixing that with my other book, Strong Against Crime. And he needed a writer, producer, director. And he had worked with me, so he called me. And he said, hey, would you like to work with me on this new show I'm doing? He's the executive producer and the showrunner. He says, hey, it's this new show. You never heard of it. It's not even in America. These guys from Britain are doing it. And Fox hired me to run it. And I wanted to see if you'd be interested in being the field producer on the show. I said, oh, yeah, sure. I'd already accepted. He was out of L.A. I said, yeah, sure. You fly around a few different places. Yeah. What's it called? He said, oh, it's called American Idol.
Oh, wow.
So I started field producing of American Idol in the first season. And I worked with Brian Gadinsky. He was the executive producer. And so I did that. And from there, I did a couple of other Fox shows like that, field producing and whatnot. And then I sat down one day with Brian and gave him an idea, which he kind of already had. And he said, I've actually been thinking of doing that. Why don't we do something? And we started working on this show idea, but we didn't sell it. Not yet. But while we were trying to sell it, I came up with another idea. And I was watching the national championship, college football, USC against University of Texas. University of Texas won that game in the Rose Bowl. And while I was watching it, there was this quarterback named Vince Young. And I thought he was just amazing. And I was like, this kid is going to go from somebody who has no money, living in somewhat of a slum area, Houston, and he's going to go from that to probably, I would say, $100 million in 6 months because he's going to be first round draft pick. And I said, wouldn't it be cool to do a documentary and follow that progress? How you go from 0 to 100 million in 6 months.
Right.
With contracts, 100 million in contract. I called up BET and I had a relationship to some degree with the president of BET at the time because I had done some stuff with him and met him. I had to give him a phone number and all. And I pitched him my idea. And he says, "That's great. I love it. When can we do this?" I was like, well, I got to call Vince first. I called Vince, pitched him the show. He loved it. 2 weeks later, we were in Austin, Texas, signing a deal it's called Vince Young Next Level, BET. And now I'm EP in my own show, EP in the show. And it was only designed to be one season. And we did one season. But I was wrong about the 100 million. He actually got 136 million.
Wow.
In contracts.
Wow.
So I missed that one by 36 million when you added up his shoe deals and all those other endorsements and all that. So I don't know if he collected all that, but he did get that kind of
heat on him. Yeah.
That kind of contracts. You know? So it was good. So now I had a relationship with BET. So we were not able to sell the concept that we had before, me and Brian. So I went to Brian. I said, well, I have a relationship with BET now. Why don't we try to sell it to them? And we did. We went to them and they said, Reggie, we pitched it to him, Brian and I. And Brian had left American Idol by now. And he's like, that's great. We'll take it. And that show is called Sunday Best. It's a gospel American Idol.
Wow.
And we produced that show, produced that show. Kurt Franklin was the host. We did that, and that was great. Meanwhile, when that season, first season ended there, I needed a job before second season started. And I went and started working for another little animated show called Boondocks.
I do know about the Boondocks. I also know about Kirk Franklin. My mom used to play so much of his music.
Super talented.
Absolutely.
Super talented. And but Aaron is super talented.
How did you meet Aaron?
I met Aaron through the president of BET. And so I met Aaron and he hired me to come over and do all the DVD documentaries for each season. So now I follow them throughout the season and I document the whole behind the scenes situation, an hour or so, documentary each time. And then that went on to the DVDs. So it was another documentary basically, right?
Yeah.
But it was great though, because now I get to work with all these stars, blah, 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 which was really amazing. We're shooting and all that. And so now I'm doing the Boondocks, and sometimes Sunday Best. And then I came up with an idea while I was at Sunday Best in my office. And would you like for me to tell you the truth about how it happened?
Absolutely.
The truth of how it happened is it's late in the evening and I'm grabbing my briefcase to leave my office at Sunset Gower in LA. And I'm tired. And up on the television set is Fox News. They had it in the arcade, where on the desk are.
Yeah.
And there's Bill O'Reilly. And as I walk by, I'm not paying attention to him, but I walk by and I hear him say, well, everybody knows Jesus is white. And I was like, well, do we know that? I mean, I don't know that. Okay, was he? Was he not? I don't know, but I don't know I don't think I'm as certain as you are. So I kept walking and I started thinking to myself, And I came up with an idea. And then when I came up with that idea, I called up Aaron Magruder. I said, Aaron likes to work late. He's a workaholic.
Yeah.
And I called up Aaron and I said, hey, Aaron, I got this idea for a show. I want to pitch it to you. Aaron's like, come on over. I get to Aaron's house like 11:30 at night. He's kind of still working. His family's asleep. His cat's working in his office. And I pitch him Black Jesus. I love it. Let's do it. So that's how Black Jesus came. And then Aaron took the ball and he ran with a whole bunch of characters and helped him a little bit. But Aaron's a genius. And he started developing and all that. And I helped him a little bit, but he did the most of the developing. He's a genius. And we got that done. And we pitched it to Adult Swim, and I was on the phone. And yeah, we think we'll do that. We like that. And we got Black Jesus. Now, it took a little while. The first thing we did was shoot a pilot. Okay, and it was like 17 minutes long. They wanted it 15 minutes. Okay. Maybe the world doesn't know this. We purposely did it 17 minutes, 17 something. Because we wanted to do a half-hour show. So we purposely messed it up, right?
Right.
And when they saw it, and it was 17 minutes, they asked us, you think you can add another 5 minutes to this? Absolutely. And it turned into a 30-minute show. And the pilot got a fantastic focus group come back. It was like 100% or something crazy. Great number. So we went into production the next year, and Black Jesus came out, season 1. And we casted John Witherspoon and Charlie Murphy's, Corey Holcomb, and Slink, Gerald Johnson, super genius.
He's hilarious.
The dude's a genius. I mean, he's a genius. You work with this guy, he's amazing, right? And all of them are.
Yes.
Corey, Valencia Algren, Angela Gibbs. They're amazing people, right? So we have this fantastic cast. And John Witherspoon, Charlie Murphy, oh my goodness. And the show does very well. And we actually wound up doing 3 seasons of that show. But it died out. We stopped doing the show. The pandemic was coming up, but John Witherspoon passed away.
Sadly, yes.
And Charlie had already just passed away.
Yeah.
And at that time, Aaron and I agreed with them, and the network agreed it's just not the same show. So otherwise, that show would have gone a while, right? But it wasn't the same show without those two.
Absolutely.
So that's how we got to that point.
Do you have any stories that you care to share about John and Charlie?
No. I don't know, man. John's now, there's not many people I love more than that guy. I can tell you that right now. And his wife, Angela, talented, man. So it's a talented family. But John was, I will get there. Well, I'll give you a story. I get there. I'm a producer who works. I'm a working producer, not a producer. So if call time's at 7:00, I generally get to the set around 6:10. So I get there at 6:10, and I start handling the problems of the day. I'm the first producer there, and I'm usually the last producer to leave. That really is me. Okay, so because that's what my mother, my father, I came from that ethic, the work ethic, right?
Right.
So when I get there at 6:00 in the morning, 6:10, call time for the actors usually is around 7:30ish, maybe 8, depending on when you see, right?
Yeah.
When I get there, John is always in his trailer at 6 a.m., even if his call time's at 10:00. So it was a great opportunity. I would get my breakfast, man, and I go into John's trailer, and we sit down, we eat breakfast, and we talk. And, it was awesome. And I got real close to him. So I got to do that for like 3 seasons. And because John was always there early. He's a hard worker, right?
Yeah.
And he was doing his lines and all that. But I think the man was just so comfortable on set and in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So I got to know him very well. And one day, after first season was over, in between the 2 seasons, I started dating one of the actors on the show, Valencia Algren. And we didn't date, the first season at all. But in between times, when nothing's going on, he say, hey, what are you doing? Nothing, let's go have some coffee. Hope second season comes. And we kept doing that. And then we started dating, and I was telling John, I really like this girl. Okay? And John Witherspoon told me in the trailer, he said, this was when we started second season.
Right.
And he told me, boy, you better marry that girl.
I could hear him say it.
Well, you better marry that girl. You don't marry that girl, something wrong with you. So I married that girl. And then we have a son, and we've been married 7 years. And thank you. But I did what he said, right? It was the best move I ever made in my entire life. And but that's one story to John, because John was the first one to tell me, marry that girl. Don't be fooling around here. Don't even waste no time. And I didn't. I listened to it.
And you feel like that's the best advice that you've received in your career?
Oh, yeah, no question. No question. So it was great. But that's a story. That, so the show did give me a wife and a kid and a happy marriage. And like I said, we're coming up on 8 years now.
Wow.
We've been together over 10. So, hey, man, you meet the love of your life. And that's a story.
Yeah. What would you say is the secret to a successful marriage?
Shut up and listen. That's number one. Shut up. Listen. That's number one, right? Because you want to react to everything, whatever, without thinking, or your old way of doing things. And, marriage is a compromise. It really is.
Absolutely.
It's love and respect. And I have a fantastic woman, but you're always going to have disagreements off and on, that's just life. But that is the perfection of it, right? And that's how you learn and grow. So I just listen. She does the same to me. We always compromise, and it works, And then when our son Grayson came, then everything's amazing, right? And she's a fantastic mother, the greatest. I knew that though when I married her. I knew she was gonna be a great mother because she had a dog, and her dog was named Lena. And the way she took care of that dog, I knew she was gonna be a great mother. So, and she is, right? So, and she does her thing. She's an actress. She still does her thing. And, but, being a mother's number one for her, and being a father's number one for me. And we kind of agree on that. I'm not a writer, producer, director. I'm a dad. Then I'm a writer, producer, director. I believe she probably feels the same way. She's a mother first.
Wow. Which is so funny because, like, I've been working in production and stuff for so long, a little over 16 years now. No, well, just at NBC where I'm at now, but I'm going on closer to 20 years working in media. Mm-hmm. But in my core, I feel as myself as a comedian first. I'm not married, I don't have any kids and stuff, but I always go through life through that lens. So, so it'd be interesting once I find that person.
Right.
And
it changes, for a lot of people. I always saw myself as well, what are you, Robert? I'm a producer.
Yeah.
I'm a black man or whatever, right? Now I'm just a dad. That's how I see myself. And that's what I am. I'm a dad. And that's the greatest thing in the world. There's nothing better, right?
Right.
So I enjoy more than the red carpet or money or awards. Nothing adds up to that. Nothing comes close. So a lot of people are blessed. I didn't realize how many people were blessed like they are until I was blessed. So yeah, but yeah. And Charlie Murphy's story. I'm trying to think of one that's good. Charlie was funny as hell. I can give you a Charlie Murphy story that's not from Black Jesus that Charlie told me. that he really did have a big problem with Rick James.
As we all know.
That wasn't all acting. He said that really happened. He really did come home to Eddie's house, and Charlie was Rick James put mud all over the couch. That really happened. And Charlie's like, you better get him off. It's my brother's couch. So yeah, that really happened. Charlie was loaded with stories. All right, because here's the thing about Charlie Murphy. He had been in the limelight because of his brother since I think he was like 20 years old, 21, somewhere there, because he had gone into the military or whatever. And then when he got back, his brother's on Saturday Night Live and all that. So he was with his brother. He was a bodyguard and all these other things because Charlie was a tough man. Charlie would knock you out, okay? You say something crazy and you get knocked out. So he was a tough guy. And, but he was around every kind of icon you can imagine because of his brother, right?
Right.
And then when they realized that he had talent and he could act, then it expanded even more. That he was funny as hell too, right? And he has stories out of the wild, most of which I can't tell, but he's around every kind of famous person you can imagine. He had stories, but he's a good writer, boy. Guy was a great writer. And so is Slink, Gerald.
Yeah.
Excellent writer. The man can write, just boom, 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 boom. Talented brother, right? But yeah, I was surrounded with talented people. Angela Gibbs, oh my gosh. Superstar. There's so many good people. But we were lucky. It was a good set. We were lucky there. But lots of stories, like I said, a lot of them maybe I can't tell, but it was funny stuff. Hilarious Hollywood stupid stuff. It's funny because everybody's a comedian, right? They all funny. Right. Everybody's funny, so it was good, including me, right? I'm funny too. We're all funny. That was good. And then Aaron's kind of, steering the boat with all these crazy people. He's kind of, calmly steering the boat and keep these clowns going forward. So, but working with Aaron was fun in itself because I love working with Aaron. Again, this man, the dude is
talented.
He amazes me sometimes.
Yeah.
So how do you get that smart? It's like, is it AI in your head, boy? He's something else. Because he'll say something and your whole life perspective change.
I've never been around him. I've seen a lot of his work. I followed his comic strips from forever, and I've just been just the stuff that he exudes from that is just mind blowing.
Right, you're like, let me rethink this now that there it is. He may have a point here. Maybe I've been wrong for 45 years. But he's that good. So I love his work, and he continues to do great things. He inspired me because he's one of the first ones to show that I had talent, not just in the reality world or directing or whatever, but in writing and stuff. So he encouraged me. And so did John Witherspoon. Yeah. Encouraged me to do that. Yeah, I love that guy. So we had a good time there, and then he encouraged me to go on and start writing myself, writing books and whatnot. So I went on to start doing that when the pandemic came. Everything shut down.
Right.
So I decided I'll just start. I'll just write my own book first. I'll start writing books before I, turn them into series. So that's what I'm doing. And I still do documentaries and different things on the side, which I love. And then I write a book or two.
How many books have you written so far?
I've written one that's published that's a fiction. I also do some activity books, workbooks for kids. I have a kid now. And I like doing those. So I've got a couple of those out. I've got book 2 for first book I wrote is called Black in Time, the letter N. You can get that on Amazon, by the way. And I have the second one ready, but I haven't published it yet. Kind of waiting for the right time. Meanwhile, I'm writing, and that's a sci-fi comedy, by the way.
Okay.
And I'm working on some other documentaries and different things, projects that I'm going to have upcoming that I plan on starting in probably March or more like April. And that's a big series of films I'm working on that I've written and doing. And then I plan on coming out with a Black in Time series.
Cool.
So I still have that, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait probably to 27, 28, something like that. I think the timing would be better.
Right.
But I love it. I'm going to keep on doing it. Keep on going.
Now, branching out into just writing in general, how has that been for you as a process versus production?
Well, production is easier. I mean, you deal with a whole bunch of problems, but production I can do like the back of my hand, right? I've been doing it for 30 years. So that's relatively easy compared to writing, kinda. Writing flows. It's great, comes out of your head, but it's coming, it's raining, and then all of a sudden it stops. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. So you have to just keep writing, and you write bad stuff, and then it starts kicking again, and you go back and you get rid of that and write the good stuff. So it's difficult, but it's also more rewarding. Production feels more sometimes like a job, whereas writing feels more like you.
Yeah.
And you're more like you're creating something out of God's universe. It's you're pulling something out of there. It's amazing. So I enjoy the writing. I enjoy the producing. I like to direct, but not too much, because I enjoy producing that much. Because when you direct, you're so enthralled in the script and all that, you can't even solve the problems. You can't really think. You have to focus on that story so much,
right,
that there's really not a lot of relaxing time. So you have to really be deep into the story. I wrote the story, so I'm already deep enough.
Right.
Okay? I'd rather stand there and produce, and as a writer, I could talk to the director. I work with the director, but because I wrote the story, but in a lot of cases, I know the story. But man, I just don't want to be completely locked in where I can't even turn around and grab a cup of coffee. So
right.
I do direct, and I will direct maybe this next movie I'm doing. I directed the last one, but I won't direct them all. I like working with other directors, young directors, old directors. I don't care. I like working with directors, and there's so much talent out there.
It really is.
I'm looking forward to working with a bunch of new directors here in this upcoming thing I got coming. So, and I'm giving them chances, let them work, and I'll be standing there. But I like working with directors.
What do you feel are some of the pitfalls that people get into as far as getting into production?
I guess Hollywood's changing. So I don't claim to know any more than anybody else now that it's changing so much. So I'm trying to be as smart as I can as it changes. We're living on that edge.
Right.
But I would encourage you to write if you're trying to get things done. I think that's number one. And then when it comes to getting stuff produced, that's a tough one because now you're dealing with a shrinking Hollywood, perhaps,
Yeah.
And with AI, you're dealing with shrinking opportunities to get into Hollywood. A lot of times a creator could get in as a writer, right? And then when you could kind of prove your wares there, then you become a showrunner or whatever. And, that worked. But now they're shrinking those rooms down, those writing rooms down from, 22, 10, down to 4, And so there's far less jobs.
Absolutely.
And far less people getting the opportunity to break into the business. So I don't know, man. I don't know how that works. I don't know. But I would say, be a creator and brand yourself. Brand your I think that's a good idea. And see if you can create a situation where AI can't replace you. It can only enhance you. If you can create things like that, that's probably the best advice I can give you now, because I'm learning too. I don't know what AI is going to completely do because I saw it coming. I used to talk about it on the set 10 years ago. Oh, Robert, he's a sci-fi writer. He's hilarious. But I said, looping is going to go away. Voiceovers are going to go away. Background actors are going to go away. And eventually, principal actors are going to go away. It's all going to be AI. And some of those have already come true. And some of them are coming true. So, it's going to replace it all. And writing, because now one person can do much more work. You don't have to have as many writers' assistants as you used to have. So that's shrinking because of AI. And there's just a lot of things shrinking. So Hollywood is becoming, it looks like to me, more of a clique club than it used to be. So that's scary because there's so much talent that might be getting walled off. So if that's the case, now you got to look at YouTube and social media and, do your own thing, so to speak. And odds are you're better than they are.
Yeah.
So, and you can do quite well because good chance you're better. Okay. So, and I watch your stuff. Okay. Because I'll sit there and watch that stuff more than I watch the stuff on TV, right?
Yeah, right.
So there's an outlet, it's a different route, but it's a new world.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's happening right now. But and so I'm preparing myself. And now I design my projects to be not reliant on network executives anymore. I used to think that was the way to go. Now I'm like, no.
Yeah. Speaking of like films and television, what was some of the stuff that you enjoyed watching when you were a kid?
Star Trek, Star Wars. Those are my top two. Obviously, I'm a sci-fi guy. Right?
Same.
Star Trek and Star Wars. I like other things too. I'm pretty open. I like rom-coms and dramas and crime shows, just like everybody else. Love documentaries. Okay, watch them my whole life. Love those. Obviously, a history guy. But when it comes to sitting down and brain dead watching something, Star Trek and Star Wars. So I'm a hardcore Trekkie. Look, when Black Jesus went to Comic-Con in San Diego,
yeah,
was I in heaven or what? And I was on a panel with my show. That's living, okay?
Wow.
And you know why I loved it so much? Because I get to get on a panel or whatever down there. It's 150,000 geeks like me.
Right.
So now I'm in heaven because I'm with my own type, right? And to get to be on a panel, first I was there with Boondocks, but I wasn't on the panel, but I was there because Aaron used to do them all the time. And that was just fun, But when I got to do Black Jesus and that kind of thing, and just talking to those fans and answering those questions, wow, I'm in heaven. I love talking to them, right? I love hearing their ideas and how it affected them. I know a lot of Hollywood people think it's some, they got issues with that. I do not. I said that I love talking to him. Hey, Black Jesus, should we do it like this? He's like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, what do you think? And we're having a good time. The guy's dressed like Black Jesus. And I'm like, let me take a picture with you, bro. It's fun. I love it. And I love talking to him. I love looking at them. I love watching them dress up. I love them. I don't dress up because I would just look stupid, but I love watching them dress up. I love those fans. They got so much passion. I love it. So that's why I like to write science fiction and do things like that. And I hope to get there again one day on a panel or something, and because those are my people, no question about it.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful too to like, it's like the writing portion is such a singular thing. It's such a personal thing. And then, sometimes if you have like a partner, a room to do it, it's insular in that realm. And then you grow it out on the production side of it a little bit more. But then once it's cut, print, and you disseminate it, it takes on a whole other world.
Oh, yeah. And then you get to forget about it.
Right.
It's like you go through all this grind of producing a TV show and a season. It's a whole rigmarole from the first concept room, writing room, to the writing and all this stuff, all the way down to the very last audio edit, mixing, okay? And by the way, I'm that guy. I'm the guy from the very first day of concepts when we're all trying to figure out what we're going to do to the very last delivery of the mix. That's me delivering that mix. I'm the last guy there, standing. I love that, right? I'm from beginning to the end. But once you've done all that work and you've edited every little car noise and radio sound and everything you can imagine, and all the mistakes you've made that you're fixing, throughout the show, and looping and blah, 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 blah. Then after about 2 months, I can go home, forget I did the show completely and watch it like a fan. And I'm pretty good at forgetting all this, everything I did, right? And I can sit down and watch that and laugh, even if I wrote the joke. I can sit there and laugh at it, right? And enjoy it. I can still sit down with Black Jesus, and I don't watch it like, the guy that produced it or whatever. I can watch it like this guy watching it on Hulu. And it's like, this guy's stupid. It's funny. So anyway, I enjoy. I'm a fan. I'm a TV movie fan.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a fan, And I think I'll never not be a fan, even if I'm doing it. Now, so many people in Hollywood sometimes, they kind of like forgot how to be fans, you know?
I can see that.
Because maybe they make so much money or they have so much fame or maybe
Or just get jaded.
It's such a pain in the butt, you know, and they're just stressed out or whatever, which can be very stressful. But a lot of times they just kind of forgot how to be fans.
Yeah.
And, while you're doing it, maybe you forgot. But I like to step back and be a fan. Laugh my butt. I even read my books and laugh. And because I've forgotten I wrote that, you know? You know, I enjoy it, you know, because I can turn it off. I love it. I love it. I love the business. I love science fiction. I love fiction. I love history. I love documentaries. So I just like doing it. Even when I watch these documentaries, it's like, you know, I get into the people, you know, that's going on. I can almost watch those like a fan to some degree, like a guy who hasn't seen it. And there's so much respect. That's why when I'm trying to edit these things and I'm shooting these people or whatever, I want them to look great, and I want them to have the utmost respect because I respect them and I want them to look great, you know,
right.
and be great and get the information and the message across. So I'm able to sit there and watch it almost like I didn't sit through it 100 hours, you know, you know, and then it's like, oh, you know, I really like her. I really like him. So I think maybe that's just, I don't know, man. It's a blessing to be able to do that, to be able to turn myself off and watch it all over again without knowing I did it, you know, acting like I did it. So.
Really is. Jumping back on the whole fan thing of it, and you're working on Black Jesus, which was a comedy. Who were some of your favorite comedians?
Charlie Murphy, John Witherspoon, Eddie Murphy, of course, Dave Chappelle, Ricky Gervais, Larry David. There's a few. I think a lot of people are funny.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there's many more I'm not mentioning. Chris Rock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a real lot of talented people.
Yeah.
Corey Holcomb.
Oh yeah, he's funny too.
That's a talented dude. Controversial.
Very, but
I don't know how much of that is an act because he's so smart. So maybe he's acting sometimes because he's so smart, right? So people don't realize, or maybe they do realize how smart that guy is. But I know he says a lot of stuff for effect.
He has to.
Okay. Because the boy is brilliant, right? And I know him as a friend, you know, you talk to him and he's just, you know, he doesn't really say anything for effect. You know, he's just being, because he's not on, right?
Right.
But of course, Slink again. But Slink's really, his stand-up's excellent. You know, these guys are, Corey's stand-up is excellent.
I haven't seen Slink's stand-up, but I did see a sketch. There was that, I forgot, it was one of the, no, not DeVry, it was one of those college sketches that he did that I saw online. That was my first iteration of seeing him on something, and then he just blew up from that.
He's good, man.
He really is.
He's good. I think he should get a lot more jobs and things, bigger things,
right. And
I think he will, because he's just that good. So I think the world of that guy, his talent is crazy. I was really lucky to work with all those people.
Is there anybody that you'd hope to work with down the line?
Let's see. I don't know. I'm sure there is. Maybe no one in particular really that I could think of. I'm sure there's somebody really big I would like to work with. I'm not really sure. I just like working with so many people. I don't know if I could single one out. It'd be nice to work with Denzel Washington or somebody. Jamie Foxx, Samuel Jackson. There's somebody I guess I would like to work. Tom Hanks would be cool. Matthew McConaughey would be a lot of fun. So there's a few people like that, and it'd be fun to work with them. Halle Berry would be fun to work with. She's super talented. And I'm sure my mind's blank. I'm sure there's many others.
Now, I know you've had, all these years of working in media. If you didn't end up pursuing this route, what would you have gone into?
Well, my back's a little sore, so I can't really do dog catching. Okay, so I just couldn't run after them. I wouldn't be able to catch them anymore. So that's out. Right? I think I would want to have been a history professor, I would guess. Some kind of teacher, probably like my dad, except not math. But probably if I wasn't in this field, I think that's what I would enjoy doing. I love teachers, so I think that'd probably be what I would want to do. I don't know if I'm smart enough to be a teacher, but I probably would enjoy it at a college level. I think I would enjoy it. I'm not qualified, but if I were, I think that's what I would want to do.
I'm sure the kids would feel like you had a lot to impart to them on any level.
I love it when I go to colleges and speak. And sometimes I go to USC and these places. They invite me to come and speak to a class.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I've done UTA and USC and a few places. Yeah. I love talking to the kids. It's more like being a fan again, and I like talking to them. It's fun, and they're young, and the world is still out there, and so it's fun to discuss what they think and tell them what you know, and I enjoy that. Yeah, I probably would like that.
Yeah, it's a very cool opportunity. I did get tapped to come back. I'll be going next month to go and speak with a class of my old alma mater. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Which school is that?
UNC.
Yeah. Heck yeah. That's another great school, right?
Yeah.
So, call me up. I'll go with you. I would love to talk to those people like that. It's just fun. Those kids, their minds are brilliant, and they, I don't know, it's just so much energy, and they've got great ideas. These young people today they're brilliant. Right?
Yeah.
And I know here people knock on me and this, that, and I say, but are you kidding me? These people are brilliant. These kids are brilliant. These college kids, these high school kids, they're brilliant. Are you kidding me? And I was like, yeah, you can knock them there, this, that, yeah. That's because they're smarter than we are. Okay.
And they have so much more opportunities and access to so much more than we had. So.
Yeah, and they're going to create more greater things than we did. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's why I love talking to them and hanging out with them in these school settings and whatnot, because they're the future, but they're so much positive energy with them, and they're so, like you said, they have so many opportunities and things around them. They seem to be more creative because maybe they know they can do stuff. With us, we knew we had to go beg somebody and do this, and maybe they'll accept us. They just get right on YouTube. Hey, bro, I'm here. And they express themselves, and I really respect that. How they express themselves.
Yeah.
More power to them.
Yeah, and I think also too, like especially in my youth, that it was more of the audacity of not knowing the proper channels that you just, I wonder what would happen if I attempt to do this, and I do all this stuff, and sometimes I would fall flat on my face, but more often than not, doors opened and I got further along than I would have ever imagined.
That's right. And like I said, I think our youth is promising. So I'm all board with it. So I got a kid too, right? So and I'm on that. He's too young right now to be doing much, but yeah, these kids are good. These college kids and these high school kids and whatnot. The kids behind them.
Does your son have any idea, sort of, what he wants to do?
He wants to be a Ghostbuster. Yeah, he knows exactly what he wants to do. He wants to bust ghosts. Okay, no question about it. He's already set. All right, so. He's already designing proton packs and ghost traps in his head at 4.5. He actually had a brilliant idea the other day. I was like, you know what? That would actually work in a movie, bro. And you're only 4.5 and they can't figure this out. Yeah, my son's a Ghostbuster.
Wow.
And the good part is there's no ghost in him. So that's a good part. You need him to come over. I don't know what he charges, but he'll come get rid of him.
I'll keep that in mind. Let's see here. As we sort of wind down, I have like a list of questions that I tend to ask my guests. And you can, when I ask them, just take them however you take it.
Got it.
So, what makes you laugh?
Everything. I laugh all the time. Well, I don't know. Funny stuff makes me laugh. I laugh at life, you know.
Right.
I laugh at politics. I laugh at all kinds of stuff. You know, I'm laughing, and it's sad, but I'm laughing, right?
Right.
And I don't know. I don't have a specific comedy that maybe I laugh at. I love those stand up guys. They're funny. I laugh at my wife is funny. She can do some things that makes me laugh sometimes. My son is really funny. Yeah, I mean, just probably if I really want to unload and just start laughing, I probably will watch stand up. I'll watch Dave Chappelle and just start laughing. I don't have a specific comedy maybe I'll watch.
Do you have a motto or advice that you tend to live life by?
No, just let things go. Don't hold a grudge. Don't revisit the past. Let the past go. Live now. Drop the past. Love yourself. Number one. Respect yourself and love yourself. If you do that, other people will respect you and love you too. You have to, and drop the past. Drop the grudges. Just drop it. Just make a decision to stop worrying about it and watch how things will open up for you.
What do you feel has been your greatest accomplishment so far?
My son and my wife. That's my greatest success, without question. That's the only one that I can't punch any holes in. So that's number one. Everything else is iffy, right? The rest of it is like, well, no, we'll see. Being a dad, that's the best thing, and it's my greatest success in my family. There's no question about that.
How do you define happiness?
Well, family and learning, growing, and learning how to let things run off your back and be happy. You know, just decide to be happy. I know they say, "Oh, you can't just say." Yeah, actually, you can. You just want to allow yourself to do that. And I know I'm the same way. You know? But it's a struggle. But when we decide it's not a struggle, guess what? It's not a struggle. So it's all in our own minds. So if we can decide to be happy and just make that decision, and then let whatever powers there may be handle the problems, it tends to work out.
How do you define success?
Well, happiness, joy. Number one, be happy. And that really is probably the greatest success you can have is loving and respecting yourself. Because if you do that, once again, same answer, but there's success everywhere. It's not money. It's not this, that, and the other. All that stuff is just stuff that you get when you have taken care of yourself first. Okay. You look at, if you look at something like your child, right? And you go, when I look at my kid, and I know when people look at their kids, most people at least, they think that kid deserves every opportunity in the world, right?
Right.
You look at your son or your daughter or whatever, you say, there's nothing that kid doesn't deserve, opportunity to deserve. And I think most people listening probably think that as well, right? Well, my thing to you is also, guess what? So do you. You also deserve every opportunity in the world, just like that child. You are that child. So with all the fervor and whatnot, you would fight for that child to get every opportunity in love. Do that for yourself too.
What would you tell your younger self?
My younger self, good question.
I finally had one.
yeah, a lot of good questions. Hang in there. Hang in there. Everything's fine. A lot to learn, and love yourself, and treat everyone with respect, including yourself, which I think I did for the most part. But there's a lot to learn, and I would just tell you, hey, just hang in there. smile as best you can. And life's not as serious as you may think. And enjoy yourself and smell the roses. Go out there and look at the beauty out there. Look at the sky, look at the sun, look at the ground, look at the people. There's beauty in everything. So enjoy it. Be grateful. Be grateful. Be grateful for the breath that you have. Be grateful for the storm, the weather, the good times, the bad times. Be grateful. And that's what I would tell my younger self and my older self. I tell myself that every day. Be grateful. It's all a blessing. And it's not that serious.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you for bringing me here, listening to me for however long it was, 5-6 hours.
I could probably talk to you for another 5-6.
I enjoyed it, man. Thank you. You were a fantastic interviewer. I love your show, and you can call me back anytime.
Absolutely. I definitely will.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
That's the podcast. Thank you again to Robert for sitting down with me. Keep up with the Avert Your Eyes podcast, or check out past episodes by visiting our website, avertyoureyespod.com. There you will find everything you need to subscribe to the podcast or follow us on all our socials. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time on the Avert Your Eyes podcast, consider yourself warned.